I've asked you to talk only about the ethical aspects of your presentation this morning and to explain why your solution specifically addresses any ethical issues. You'll have 10 minutes. I have a very busy schedule. No Q&A afterwards, no slides, no video. Just talk to me and tell me about your view of the ethical issues and why your solution is best. I'll have a timer going. I will try my best to give you a 2-minute warning when we're getting close to the end. And then I'll also tell you a little bit about the 90-second presentation. Jacob, I think you're handling that. So I'd like you to imagine that you work for our company and that you meet up with one of our executives who asks you to explain why sustainable development is important at all and how that's linked to your team's topic. You'll have 90 seconds for that. Again, I'll try to give you a 1-minute warning, but you probably won't need it. And with that, just tell me when you're ready to start and I'll start the timer.
Okay, we're ready to start.
Okay, go.
Good evening, and thank you for calling us back. We are Helios International. Our team consists of me, Alex, also Jake, and Taylor and Thomas. I'll be turning you over to Jake, who will be doing an in-depth analysis of the ethics. Focusing on ethical problems in South Sudan, it is impossible to ignore many hardships that people face. The civil wars that have been occurring over the years have caused 4 million people to flee their homes. Since 2014, 2.47 million people had to flee into neighboring countries. Over 7 million people need humanitarian assistance and around 6.9 million are experiencing hunger. Food stores are running out of supplies and markets are empty as well. Currently, only 1% of South Sudan's 12.5 million people have access to the electrical grid. By introducing our solution, it will allow a cheaper energy alternative for 43% of the South Sudanese who live on less than $1.43 a day. Our solution is to introduce floating solar panels and install them along the White Nile River and other bodies of water. These solar farms do not require deforestation. Its benefits include improving citizens' well-being, keeping water free of mosquitoes, which reduces illnesses, eliminates allegra and bacteria, and provides work opportunities for the installation of these panels. It can improve education by allowing children to be educated remotely, with many educational systems that have done so due to COVID-19. Access to cheaper and more attainable electricity can simply provide more light so children have more time to study, which can improve education and allow for the development of a society to increase. By improving electricity in South Sudan, it can also help tackle many other problems as well. More electricity can provide more streetlights in impoverished areas, which can reduce crime rates. Reliable energy can provide access to healthcare facilities by reducing their electricity cost. It can provide access to fast and efficient cooking as well as better food preservation. In the agricultural sector, electricity can fuel or operate machinery and or cool heat buildings, as well as provide light so work hours can be extended into the night. South Sudan will utilize environmental stability and safety as a driving force for investment. By implementing a new source of energy, this opens doors to economic diversification and can essentially improve the standards of living. Now I'll pass it off to Jake.
Thank you, Alex. And thank you again, of course, for calling us back. I really do appreciate it. The first thing I want to do is recap a little bit of what we went over yesterday, right? So electricity allows for a much better quality of life. With electricity, as you are aware, there's easier access to things like education and much simpler ways to cook and reliably clean food. So South Sudan, as Alex laid out, as we laid out yesterday, is facing a lot of ethical dilemmas right now. Lack of access to clean water, lack of education, high nighttime crime rates, little to no infrastructure, and high rates of disease, such as typhoid fever, malaria, hepatitis A. All of this we touched on yesterday, of course. So these are serious issues that are really on the forefront of every South Sudanese citizen's mind. And unfortunately, there's no kind of magic pill, quick fix that's going to immediately solve all these issues. But we here at Helios International truly believe the best way to start tackling these issues is through sustainable, reusable energy production. So the people in South Sudan need electricity, not only electricity, but as I said, a clean, sustainable way of obtaining it. Helios International is highly recommending the floating solar panels for you all in South Sudan. These are a clean form of renewable energy. right? So the only unethical side of the floating solar panels would be the only unethical side of solar panels are the large swaths of land that are typically cut down to make room for solar farms. By placing the solar panels on top of the water, there's no need for these large swaths of land to be cut out. On top of this, by placing them on the water, there's increased efficiency as the panels left cooler and no extra cost. Of course, as we discussed yesterday, these solutions, the solutions that the South Sudanese citizens are currently using to obtain power are very, very unethical. There's a high black market rate where about 5 times the cost per gallon of diesel is charged to anyone trying to obtain it, as diesel generators are the most used form of electricity for people in South Sudan who can obtain them, as well as wood burning. 80% of all wood use in South Sudan goes to fuel wood for fueling fires, which is not the most reliable way of cooking food and cleaning water through boiling. So of course, floating solar panels would provide the necessary electricity to each South Sudanese citizen who needs that little bit of power. Now, it's extremely clear to us here at Helios International that South Sudan is facing a major ethical crisis. Your people are suffering from so many deeply troubling issues. We need to work quickly and efficiently to expedite these solutions to the problems. We understand that these issues won't be resolved overnight, as I said before, and we know that there is going to have to be some transition period with diesel. And with oil. And while on the topic of oil, you brought up an issue to me yesterday, kind of stating that China has been stealing resources from impoverished African nations and kind of taking this away. This is a highly unethical problem, and our team at Helios International kind of really buckled down last night and dug a little deeper, hoping to kind of solve this issue. And we came up with 2 solutions right off the bat to help you guys. So first, I'd like to talk about China a little more. So since 2005, China announced forgiveness of about $10 billion zero interest loans for least developed African countries. In 2018, Xi Jinping, the president of China, also announced forgiveness of all intergovernmental zero interest loans for all of those same countries. This means that South Sudan can, with these implementations, safely renegotiate with China on the effects of solar energy. Okay, so hopefully through this, if you still wanted to go the China route and use China to get your solar energy from, you feel a little more comfortable knowing that your resources would not be stolen from you anymore. Hopefully this will allow for better negotiation, and really at the end of the day, a more prosperous, a more ethical South Sudan. We really want you guys to succeed. We really want you to prosper. Of course, you may have a bad taste in your mouth from China, as they have been exploiting other African countries around you and yourself from these solar panels. So we did come up with a second solution, especially since there's still a lot of ethical issues regarding the burning of oil and the use of fossil fuels and greenhouse gases being emitted into the atmosphere. So while oil will still be a necessary short-term evil while you transition to solar energy, we hope that by potentially working with a leading solar company, perhaps Tesla, for example, you might be able to actually bring some infrastructure into South Sudan. And what we're saying here is we will help you contact Tesla and get Tesla to not only give you the solar panels, help teach you how to install them, but potentially Tesla could then build a solar panel manufacturing plant in South Sudan. This will help South Sudan potentially one day become a leading solar power in and of itself. So we are very simply suggesting we reach out to Tesla, and Tesla comes in and helps you, or some other large solar panel company helps you build solar panels and install them in your own nation, basically hopefully creating jobs and creating a sustainable energy department that can be worked through South Sudan. Hopefully this will allow you to become a leading solar panel distributor in the future. So like I said, we came up with these 2 solutions since your recommendations yesterday, either renegotiating your deals with China, which we did talk about yesterday, or perhaps cutting a new deal with a solar panel company like Tesla or another leading solar panel company. So very quickly now to wrap up, by addressing the issue of energy first, South Sudan is really working to expedite the process of solving all the other ethical issues it's currently facing. Energy production makes things like education, infrastructure building, and clean food and water much, much simpler. So the 21st century, it's brought us so many new technological changes. Countries like South Sudan who are just starting out don't have to struggle like countries of the past did to try to build these things from scratch. They can get help from outside nations. They can really work inside themselves to build up, good infrastructure, good electricity, and really start with a leg up. Now, all of the ethical issues that we talked about both yesterday and today are very, very complex. Lack of energy, unclean food and water, widespread disease, high nighttime crime rate, and a black market are only a few of them, and all are extremely hard to deal with, right? So we're hoping that implementing these highly ethical floating solar panels will be a good solution for you, and potentially going through the 2 avenues that we laid out here today. So without anything else to say, Helios International is proud to recommend these floating solar panels to you. We hope you understand the full ethical benefits of them and how they can work on the issues that you're currently facing. So thank you very much. Clean energy is the first step to building a prosperous and ethical South Sudan. So thank you.